Hey everybody, Frank here, Godzilla Island for the Mazes Squad, back here with a review of Thomas Scioli's Godzilla's Monsterpiece Theatre, issue number 3, the final issue of the series. This was a really quick run, 3 issues. All of them are a little bigger than your typical comic, I feel. They were definitely above your standard 24-page comic. The first one especially felt like a big comic. This is a great 3-parter. After the first issue, I was like, is the lack of knowledge on Gatsby gonna hurt me? But no, not at all. If you are not familiar with Gatsby, you will be fine with this series. Really picked up in the second issue. The first issue was great as well, but this third issue is quite the epic finale. I mean, we finally get Godzilla versus the Wolfman officially now, as well as Frankenstein, the Mummy, Dracula, and even Gatsby. Yes, we'll get to that in a little. But, I've really enjoyed the series. Love the art. Thomas Scioli did a great job on the writing and art. And then Nathan Wittick did some production design. And Jake Williams with the editing. But it opens up, in the last issue we saw Godzilla going across the world, wreaking havoc. And one of the places he went through was Egypt. And he destroyed Udum-Tep's, the Pharaoh Udum-Tep's pyramid, and the mummy rose and was pissed, and it left these archaeologists unharmed, just walked straight by because it was pissed at Godzilla for being the one that broke it. So he's on the hunt for Godzilla. But Godzilla is all the way in Transylvania, as you could see. He marched his way there. Some werewolves there in the foreground. Dracula has Daisy up in his castle. And some really cool art. This vessel, the submarine from Jules Verne that goes into a tank, into a submarine, into a Land Rover, into a Zeppelin, going to Transylvania. Dr. Watson's all upset about Sherlock being killed by Dracula last issue, and then he appears again, and she's like, how are you alive? And he's under Dracula's control. He vanishes after they kick in the door, and we get a little Nosferatu, Van Helsing, werewolf, zombie little montage there where they go over the things. We see our Zeppelin get shot out of the sky and crash into the water, and they make their way to Transylvania finally. They're completely surrounded by werewolves, and they just take off, and they get stuck, and they end up hopping on motorcycles and just hauling it through. They get to town, and they have Baron von Frankenstein is waiting for them. He's got his secret weapon, his grandfather's creation, Monstrum Upsilon. We get another really cool full-page shot of Godzilla. There's Gatsby and crew ride across a mountainside, and Godzilla's just storming through Transylvania to Dracula's castle. They get to the castle. They pull out the Maser cannon that Jules Verne had built for them. Monster Upsilon gets released. It's Frankenstein, of course, the Frankenstein's monster, and he knocks down the doors, and they storm through the castle. There's vampires, monsters, and whatnot. Gatsby arrives, and Daisy is still under Frankenstein's control, and Tom gets pissed off when he sees the two of them kind of hugging, and for some reason Gatsby started taking off his shirt. They were hugging, but he wasn't kissing her, so I don't know what he thought was going to happen. And the two of them are fighting over her, and that's when the Time Machinist makes his entrance. Sherlock is there. The Time Machinist freezes Sherlock in his vampire form. And it's like, I got here just in the nick of time. All these vampires pop in. He hooks Gatsby up with this cool weapon that's a spike, a stake. Dracula goes to the roof and gets in his helicopter, flies over Godzilla, and tries to control him with the mind control, and it does work somewhat. That's when he encounters Frankenstein's monster. They sick him on Dracula, but Dracula then uses his control to stop the monster, and it begins attacking Gatsby and crew. That's when he also takes over the time machine, who hands over this special ring that's going to make everything bigger. So he uses the ring to make the mummy bigger, and the mummy begins fighting Godzilla. Really cool shot there. And the mummy is pissed at Godzilla for destroying his tomb. Dracula then blasts a werewolf, and now we have Godzilla versus the Wolfman officially. Here in this shot, he's all white. It's gotta be a nod to the fan film. And they duke it out. They're duking it out. Now it's a 2 against 1 Godzilla mummy. And that's when Jules Verne, not Jules Verne, I don't know what I'm saying, Jules Verne, Dracula blasts Frankenstein with the ring, and we have almost a Frankenstein Conquers the World-esque look now with the torn clothes, just legs, and it's totally a callback to that movie. And we got Godzilla versus Frankenstein versus Mummy, and now Dracula makes himself bigger, and he gets in on the action. Gatsby takes out Sherlock finally, and he withers away. And we have this all-out monster battle. And at this point, Dracula is bigger, and he's asking her to make it even bigger. Daisy has the ring now, and Gatsby's like, no, use it on me, and Gatsby becomes a giant, the great Gatsby. And now Gatsby's in on this fight, and he just punches Sherlock, I don't know, I keep screwing up his name, Dracula, and Godzilla grabs Dracula by the cape, spins him around, throws him into space, and Dracula makes contact and sees the sun and just bursts into flames. And then you have Godzilla versus Gatsby. The two duke it out, and it's becoming a mess. Gatsby blocks Godzilla's atomic blast and absorbs it, and he runs at him and tries to shut his mouth, and it causes a large explosion, takes out the castle, and shrinks Gatsby back down to normal size, and Godzilla heads out into the sunset. We have a little post scene here with Godzilla going through Odessa and stomping east, and just Gatsby's back home. Daisy says she's leaving with Tom, does not want the life with Gatsby, and he is all by himself, back to where he was in the beginning. Really cool series. Hope you guys enjoyed. Check it out for yourself, and highly recommend you pick up the trade paperback when it does come out. And thank you guys for watching.